All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful leg out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. All right, and what I want to get into today is real quick. This respond, to the brother Pashai, the elder brother Pashai out in DC. As he made a video going to recognizing Satan. Okay, because remember, this is spiritual warfare. All right, real quick. Let's get this and we'll get into it. And we always get this, but you go to Ephesians, the 6th chapter, right? Ephesians 6 and 12, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places," man. You see, we have to understand, that as we, serve Yahweh Shai, there's an opposing force. Okay? And that's why even Satan, told Yahweh Shai, told Peter that Satan desires to sift him. Okay? Well, what was the Apostle Peter? He was the head of the church. Okay? So Satan had a desire to sift the head of the church. And you go into this word sift, we're going to get it. Okay? But it says, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, man. And this it goes into the elites. And we have to understand that elites have made the earth a haven, for Satan. And it's easily for Satan to take many forms and jump on different people, even, different vices that we might have. Okay? It's easy for Satan, to be in the mix. Okay? Because this is a haven for Satan. And people have been prepped, to be influenced by Satan in this world. And we have to understand that this is what we're up against, man. So when we dealing in our day-to-day, understanding the mission that we've been given, because we've been assigned to a heavy task. Okay? We've been assigned to a heavy task by Yahweh Shai. And Satan understands the particular men that are on that task. Okay? And he's set up to be a resistance. And, especially when he can't directly get to us, he begins to operate on things around us, man, and come and tries to find an angle any way that he can. And this nigga is patient. Okay? This nigga is strategic. All right? This nigga studies us. He knows our interests, what we like, you see? This nigga been watching the game film. Okay? But the scriptures gives us, the knowledge, the understanding, it gives us the game on to recognize Satan. Because once we recognize it's Satan and we know how to sidestep it, cut it off, whatever we got to do, okay, that puts us in a better position, man, to continue on the path with Yahweh Shai. Now, let's go here to the book of 1 Corinthians, all right, the 14th chapter, okay? 1 Corinthians 14 and 33, it said, "For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace is in all the churches of the saints." Now, if the Most High is not the author of confusion, who is? Okay? Because when you go to dealing with Satan or the devil, which is Diablos, which is deceiver, okay, he's all about confusion. Okay, and that's one of his tools, okay, to distract is confusion. Okay, now you get into confusion, and these are characteristics of Satan. Okay, you get his words in the Greek.
181, akatastasia.
Okay, And you get into it, it says instability, a state of disorder, disturbance, or confusion. So to know if something is Satan, okay, if it's causing instability, if drinking has caused us to be having an instability, a state of disorder, okay, well, guess what? That's the angle that Satan is using. Satan is using it. If we don't have a control on it, if it's women, okay, these women causing instability, a state of disorder or disturbance in the mission, it's Satan. Anything that causes a disturbance of the mission, man. All this worldly ambition that we can have, trying to, be this entrepreneur and do this and do that. Which we tried these things, man. We've done things, and brothers have tried things, or whatever it might be. Because naturally brothers gonna have more than others. Brothers, the Lord gonna have some brothers well off. So that's not saying that if you well off, okay, it's about being caught up in this thing to where it disturbs us in our assignment. Okay, every brother got their proper gift, whatever it might be. Okay, but if it's causing a disturbance in the assignment, it's of Satan. Okay, certain family members, man, can be a disturbance, an interruption, can cause confusion or instability. Okay, and that there's Satan on them, man. Certain jobs, certain, supervisors, certain things have Satan on them, man. You have to recognize that, man. And know how to maneuver. If you can't cut it off, recognize it's Satan and apply the scriptures, apply wisdom, man, apply patience. Okay? You see? So one of the main characteristics of Satan is to be a disturbance to the assignment. Satan tries to hijack peace. Okay? Because you go into this word peace, because Yahweh Shah wants us in a certain level of peace. Of course, there's a natural vexation that comes with being in the Edomite ran society. As Israelite men, as heterosexual Israelite men, okay, it's gonna be a vexation just to be in this man's kingdom. There's something that we don't have to add to ourselves. We're just gonna be there. Okay, so you get this word peace.
Strong's G 1515. Irene.
Irene. All right, it says a state of national tranquility, exemption from the rage of havoc and war. Okay, and Satan wants us in a constant conflict or some type of war. Okay, some type of havoc. You see? Now when it goes into it, it says security, safety, prosperity, felicity. All right, it says because peace and harmony makes and keeps things safe and prosperous. Okay, because in order for us to be, efficient in our office, well, there's a certain level of peace that we have to maintain. Okay, like I say, it's not going to be, peaches and cream. Not saying that. All right, but there's a state of peace that we need to fulfill our office, man. Okay, when I say vexation is by default, just because we're here is a vexation. You see, but we have to understand anything that's trying to disturb our peace, okay, in Yahweh Shai, all right, is a tool that's being used by Satan. We have to know these things, man, and recognize and know how to move. Okay, going back. Let's go here, because as Yahweh Shai, he's the author and finisher of our faith. Well, what was Yahweh Shai into? What was he doing? Matter of fact, let me get that. So this is the book of Luke chapter 19. Okay. In verse 45 it says, he went into the temple and began to cast them out that sold therein and that brought. Okay. So Yahweh Shai, this is the account, when he whipped them out the temple. Okay. And we're not physically whipping anybody out of the temple, but as we make, these videos going into what's off, okay, amongst these so-called leaders, well, we're acting the part of Yahweh Shai. And see, our peace is fulfilling our lot in Yahweh Shai. Okay? This is what he was doing, and this is what we're on, man. You know, it's a part of it. Okay? He was watching, he was prophesying. Okay? When you go into 2, it says, saying unto them, it is written, my house is the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. And he taught daily in the temple, but the chief priests and the scribes and the chief of the people sought to destroy him, and could not find what they might do, for all the people were very attentive to him. So it said Yahweh Shai taught daily. Okay, remember, he's the author and finisher of our faith. You see, Satan is the author of confusion. He wants to be a disturbance. He wants to bring instability to the faith. Yahweh Shai, okay, he's the author of faith. So we begin to mimic what Yahweh Shai was on. Yahweh Shai wasn't about the age that he was in. He didn't give a damn about that age. Okay? The Roman Empire being, you know, popular and cute in Rome. Yahweh Shai cared nothing about that. He was dead to that. Okay? And he was at peace with fulfilling his role in the Heavenly Father. He was at peace. Okay? So that's why you go here. All right, this is the book of, is it is Luke 22. Let me see. All right, this is the book of 22, Luke 22 and 31. It says, and the Lord said, Simon, Simon, all right, which is Peter, behold, it says, Satan, all right, have desired to have you, okay, that he may sift you as wheat. So let's get this word sift, all right, which is another attribute of Satan, okay. Sift in the Greek.
Strong's G 4617, Siniadzo. Siniadzo.
All right. It says to shift, to shake, and to sheave. It said by inward agitation to try one's faith on to the verge of overthrow. You see? So Satan comes with this inward agitation, man. It's something is just, you know, it's just agitation. It's an agitation to think about. Okay, you got Satan on it, man. Okay? And it can come, you know, with perks, and you like, damn. And that's the thing, Satan level up. You know? So Satan level up on his approach, man. And he can come in a way, you know, like it's complimentary, or like it's, you know, like it's a gift from the Lord. You like, oh, you know? But then it can create this, it begins to create this agitation. Okay? Well, it lets you know that Satan has crept in. You see? And you have to recognize these things, man. Certain places you might go, it might seem cool, but then, you know, because once you overdo things, then it becomes, things can become cool with moderation, but things that are overly done, hey, Satan can use that. Okay? So Satan, you know, he can creep into a situation. You see? And once we see instability, disturbance, agitation, well, these are all signs, okay, Satan is here. This nigga is here. Okay, this nigga is present in the situation, man. And those are things that we have to recognize. So that's why you go here. Okay, St. John 16 and 33. When it said, these things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. Going back to that tranquility, which creates prosperity, and we're prospering in the truth. That's the thing that we're prospering in, man. I'm gonna say, but it takes a level of peace, you know, to prosper in the truth, man. You know, to where we can really focus and be hyper focused on this thing, learning and growing. Okay? It says, in the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. And what was Yahushua doing, man? First, he was occupied. He was teaching daily. Okay? And when you go here, you know, he didn't put the flesh over the mission. Luke 4 and 5. Which the point says, and the devil taking him up into a high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment. Everything. You know? He tempted Yahushua with everything. Like, look, all these kingdoms, you can be, okay, the elite. Okay? Of all these different kingdoms. You see? So he's showing Yahushua everything, man, that this world has to offer. It says, and the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will give it. So this age, this world is the age of Satan. That's why Yahushua said, well, I have overcome this world, this age. Yahushua overcame the age of Satan. Okay? And now we're overcoming. You see, Abaratazah. But the earth, you know, has been given in what? To the hand of the wicked. And these devils, okay, their God is Satan. You see? So Satan has a heavy presence in this current world. All right? And this is the main objective, verse 7. If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine. Okay? All shall be thine. So Satan wants worship. When something, you know, is acquiring a form of worship, and it might be, okay, it means you light candles and you bow down to the thing or person. Well, something that's trying to manipulate your time and manipulate your thoughts and make themselves or it, you know, becomes your center. Okay, it becomes your main priority. Well, guess what? You're giving worship to something, okay, above Yahweh Shema Shai. So Satan, okay, it's about disturbance, instability, disorder, agitation, okay? And Satan wants worship. Satan wants a lot of attention and time. Okay? So we have to understand these things, man. Okay, we have to understand and recognize it. It's something, you know, speaking to myself, the Lord has us getting better at, man. Okay? So, I believe there's one more. All right, oh yeah, let me get this. All right, this is Romans 16 and 20. Okay. It says, and the Most High of peace, all right, and the power of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The grace of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach be with you, amen. And under our feet, that's under our rule. Okay? Because in the kingdom, we're not going to have to battle, you know, Satan and, you know, trying to figure out, you know, Satan. And no, in the kingdom, all right, we'll join heirs with Yahweh Shai. These principalities will be what under the feet, okay, of the elect, beginning with what? Those first fruits. Okay, and Yahweh Shai finna bruise this, man, their head, okay? Their head shot he not going to recover from. You see? And he's not going to be the problem or, you know, a threat, okay, to our peace ever again. You see? So, Lord will, you brothers. All right, then you sister edified. I just wanted to go into that. Till the next time I say shalom. Going Yashala, Abba, Abba, soon, shalom.